Hello, welcome to Postcolonial Space. I'm Masood Raja, and today briefly about the conclusion of a dissertation. Now, I just recently posted a video on the structure of a dissertation in which I did explain how to go about writing a conclusion, but I had a few queries, so I thought I should make a standalone video on the conclusion. So first and foremost, the most important thing to keep in mind is that we don't introduce anything new in the conclusion, okay? We are just concluding the project that we have just finished. So a conclusion ought not to be very long. 3 or 4 pages is a lot. And what you basically do in the conclusion is you kind of refer back to what you've just accomplished. And you start with, this is what I plan to do. This is how I have gone about doing that in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And then maybe at the end, what you hope by the book or the dissertation, that your hope is that it would clarify the problem that you tackled, or that it would launch a discussion on the topic or a debate, or that more scholars would read it and build on it. So these are some of the things that I've done in the conclusions to my books, but also to my dissertation. There is, you'll develop your own tone, but I kind of make it a point to let the reader know that my words in the book that they've just read, or in your case, dissertation, are not the final words, that I don't have all the knowledge, and that I have tried my best to do what I aim to do to the best of my abilities. And if anyone finds any fault in it, of course, that's my fault. But if they find any value in it, that is good too. So overall, the conclusion basically just kind of reverts back to what you've just done in the dissertation and points out briefly and sums it up, right, as to what you've done. And maybe a little bit of a hope of what you hope from the work, what it will achieve in the world, how people will respond to it, and then conclude. I have noticed in my conclusions that I tend to get a bit more philosophical, and I let my creativity kind of guide me. So most of my conclusions kind of are less scholarly and more philosophical. I mean, philosophical can be scholarly too. So just suit your style. But keep in mind that it doesn't need to be really long. You are not re-articulating what you've extensively written about. You're just briefly going over what was your question, what is it that you were trying to answer, how did you go about doing that, and what is your hope from the work as it is read and responded to by your readers. So that's all, very brief, just as the conclusion ought to be really brief. But I hope this is helpful to you. Please do watch the longer video on the structure of a dissertation, but if you just are curious what to put in a conclusion, this might be helpful to you. Thank you so much. Stay safe, take care of each other, be generous and kind, and I will now see you next time. Until then, as always, peace and love.